I don't think we can wait or expect the government to lead. And I don't mean to be rude about the government or seditious, right? Although I wouldn't mind being, right? I don't think we've set up a system where the government are leaders. Most people in government have not run an enterprise or run a business. And today, politics is a career. So, you know, that's been your career, being a politician. So, Joe mentioned Tony Coote and Peter Andrews. I'm working with both those gentlemen. I'm working with Peter Andrews. I'm working for Tony Coote. Tony Coote owns Maloon Creek Natural Farms near Bungendore, 7,000 hectares. It's got the best free-range egg-laying chicken system in the world, I think. He used to own Angus and Cootes, the jewellers. He used to be the head of the Australian Retailers Association. He's a smart man, he's a businessman, and he's a wealthy man. He's putting his money into developing sustainable land use systems of agriculture because that's what he believes. Some of the people who've done all right need to actually lead the government. So we need to lead government at all levels. So Tony's trying to do it at a national level and in some ways, and good luck to him. I support him. He employs me as a designer and a teacher. But at a local level, you have local politicians, and they need leading. And we vote them in. And they are insecure on their voters. So they need to know what we want. And if we don't demonstrate that to them passively, not aggressively, if we don't demonstrate to them that this is what we want, so what we have to do is we have to be tolerant of each other because our processes and protocols of community have collapsed in this homogenized society of consumerism. We don't know our tribe. We don't know our family. I mean, goodness gracious, look at our family situation. It's a tragedy. You're born as a young person, as a baby, and you go to childcare because mum and dad have 3 jobs. You finish your life in an old people's home. And the only time you're actually in some semblance of family is when you work in those 3 jobs. And at the beginning and at the end of our lives, we're not cared for by our extended family. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in traditional community. And it didn't happen in our community either at one time. We've ended up actually time poor and gadget rich. We all have an iPod, a laptop, and all this stuff, but we don't have community. So we have to be tolerant of assembling ourselves in some kind of group process where we can demonstrate this is what we want. Now, if you have community meetings around this where I don't care what you call it permaculture, call it transition towns, call it biodynamics, call it organic gardening, call it community gardens, call it all of it, call it one group, doesn't matter. But demonstrate that it's popular and have a diversity of people. We look like a pretty diverse mob here, all different age groups, probably all different professions. We're not from one niche of community. If you have 100 people meet every month for a year or more, even 6 months or more, you will be able to influence local politics. Local politicians will come and they'll want to know why. You'll have to be a non-profit community group incorporated, which means you're going to have a president, a vice president, a secretary and a treasurer and a membership, and you'll run on the model rules of Australia. That's how all your non-profit community groups run. Tennis club, football club, Lions club, bowls club, they're all surf club, they're all the same. It's a set system. It's not hard. You can get cheap insurance from associating with the garden clubs of Australia. We've had some permaculture groups running 20 years on the Sunshine Coast, and they've influenced council. They've influenced the way the council makes decisions. They've demonstrated that we actually want this. We want a different approach to development. We want support. That's one way. So if you can start off in your local shires, and we've got models of this, so that we can get people cooperating. At least people you know then will make you feel more secure. Now people will help you, and they say, oh, well, this is how we designed our hot water service, and this is how we designed our energy system, and this is how we designed our garden and our small animal system and our water harvesting system and other stuff. Because we don't have a process to address it. You know, we've got this system set up where we're supposed to vote people in and they do what we would like them to do. But there's some kind of disconnect there between voting somebody and what actually happens that we don't really like at the other end, you know. So that's one thing we've done that is kind of working. The more and more groups we set up, the better it is. We've bred groups. One shire, it's usually a shire in Australia, one shire after another has bred the next group, the next neighbouring group or nearby groups. We've now done the same thing in America, in Europe, in Brazil. Nearly everywhere where there's a democratic government, there's some local government model. And these things are happening.